Hi, I'm Jess Kelly, Newstalk's technology correspondent, and this is Tech Bytes, the show that aims to make your tech choices that bit easier. We are back with another TV review today, but it's not just any TV. It is one of the Philips OLED Ambilight TVs, and I've been dying to get my hands on one of these for some time. Before we talk through the bells and whistles, let's just have a bit of a rundown so you know what we're dealing with. So this is the Philips 55 OLED907. It's a 4K Ultra HD HDR smart TV with built-in sound by Bowers & Wilkins. There are three size options with this model. You can get 48, we have the 55, and there's also the bigger version, which is 65 inches. This is the top tier of the lineup, but you can also go for the 807 or the 707. So in terms of the setup, this could not have been easier. We managed to do it in a matter of minutes. It's a big old box. The second you take it out, you've got your different parts. This is for the stand. You need 4 screws to go into the back of the TV. You stand it up and it is ready to go. The biggest thing you have to worry about in terms of the setup is not getting fingerprints all over the screen. The other thing to note is it is incredibly thin, so be mindful if you have pets, kids or housemates walking around while you're trying to do the setup. Once you have it set up, you have the option of either putting it on a stand or hanging it on a wall. What I love about the stand is that the footprint is actually quite neat, so it's not going to take up an entire tabletop or your entire TV stand to have this set up. Once you power it on, you will see instantly, you ready? It runs Android OS, which as a tech fan is just the dream. The operating system, the interface is very familiar to anybody who has or has had an Android phone or tablet. Once you put in your Wi-Fi password, it'll then prompt you to put in your Gmail address. For privacy fans, it is possible to skip that, but if you do put it in, you will get some added features such as notifications on the top right-hand screen when it is set up. You'll also be able to use the Google Assistant that comes fully built into the TV too. So one of the many benefits of having this TV using the Android operating system is that the entire user interface is clean and clear and easy to navigate. I've reviewed so many TVs over the years that are just clunky and you almost need a degree to try and navigate your way through. The beauty of this, as I said, is it runs Android, so you can download apps to the TV and you can customize the layout. It is very simple. It also displays the content from your different streaming services in such a clean way. So you can see all of the shows that you're watching on Netflix, on Apple TV, and any other service that you might want. You can also rejig it, you can turn off certain features. It's fully customizable and anybody can figure it out. All right, we are nearly at the stage of the video where I'm going to talk you through the unique selling points of this TV. But before I get to that, I need to talk to you about the remote. And don't roll your eyes, it's important, and it does actually tie into some of the cool features that are purely unique to this TV. When I set the TV up the other day and I saw the remote, this is it here, I pulled a bit of a judgy face because it's quite a big remote. There's nothing petite about this. And it reminded me of a remote that my granddad Tony had on his TV back in like 1995. So the judgy face, this one here, was in full flow. Then I sat down and I played with the TV and I got familiar with the remote, and the judgy face turned into an impressed face because then I understood the point. I got that every single thing that's here serves a purpose. And we'll go through some of them. So you'll see up here you've got your power, you have your app shortcuts, you have the shortcut for the Google Assistant, which is great. You have a source button. Everybody needs a source button. You have a very comprehensive control pad here, which is very reactive, which I appreciate greatly. You have your home button, you have your TV guide, pause, play, fast forward, volume control, and your buttons. Philips, you nailed it. I take back the judgy face. Now, the thing that ties into the bells and whistles is this button up here, which I jumped over. It's the Ambilight button. And I'm going to explain why this is the case as we get to the very cool and very unique features of this TV. All right, so I'm sure that you've heard of OLED TVs by now, but this one is different in that it's OLED EX or OLED X. And what the EX means is that the colors are enhanced. The blacks look blacker, the whites look whiter. The definition is there. So regardless of what you're watching, everything just feels like it's jumping out at you. The other thing to note about this TV is that it's got tech built in that will limit the heat burn on the TV. So you know when you, back in the day, might have been watching something on TV and you turn off the TV and you can still see the outline blur of different characters, or if you leave it on for too long, the screen gets hot and then you almost have a bleed onto the screen. That is a thing of the past with this TV because of all the tech that has been built in from the ground up. The two things that I was most excited to test on this TV are the Ambilight and the embedded sound. But let's start with the lights. So I have in the past bought, to my shame, cheap little lights that I stick onto the back of my TV with double-sided sticky tape, plug them in and claim my TV to be backlit. And I'll be honest with you, it's fine. It's kind of a static colour. You can opt to have it white or green or blue, and it does add an extra element. But what I've learned through this review is that I was doing a rip-off version of something that is truly epic when it is done well. What I mean is, on the back of this TV, you will see on 3 of the 4 sides, there are little lights built in. These are what makes up that Ambilight feature, and these are intelligent LEDs that can follow the picture on your screen. So say for example you're watching a rugby match. The entire back of the TV and around the sides will be lit up green, and when that's projected and reflected onto the wall, it makes your TV feel twice as big. It makes the viewing experience that bit more immersive, and it works incredibly well when it comes to sport. The same is true when you're gaming as well. If you are in a deep, dark, very grim game, you know how we all like to do to unwind, it just transforms the experience. No longer in my apartment do I just have big white walls around a big TV. All of the colours and the true sense of the game is being reflected onto the wall, making it that bit more immersive. One thing that I found out when I was messing around with my beloved remote, my new best friend, is that when you hit the Ambilight button, you can control certain aspects. So for example, you can have it to follow the picture. So in that rugby example, it'll follow whatever colour it is on the screen. So if it's green, if it's on the pitch, it'll be green. If it's in the crowd, it'll be different colours. If it's back in the studio, it'll be different colours again. If, however, I am having a party, because I'm such a party fiend, I could opt to have a playlist of songs playing away on YouTube or Spotify, and the Ambilight, so the lights around the TV, will follow the pulse essentially, or the beat of the music, and flash in unison with the music, which is very cool. It turns your TV essentially into a bit of a party hub. You do have the option of turning Ambilight off entirely if you don't like it, or you can have it set on a static colour. So I wasn't sure when this arrived in for review if, you know, the Ambilight thing would be a bit of a gimmick, or if it wouldn't really stand up to my cheap little solution that I've been getting away with for years. However, having used it across TV shows, movies, gaming and sport, it really does transform the entire viewing experience. Another unique feature of this TV you'll notice straight away is the grey soundbar built in at the bottom. This is powered by Bowers & Wilkins, and if you don't know Bowers & Wilkins, these are a premium audio brand. They make Notion's hi-fi systems for home and for in-car systems too. And the impressive thing is that the sound quality is epic. We had it set up in this room, and I can confirm, having tested it with sports, gaming, movies and TV show, it can pack a punch. There's also a subwoofer built into the back, which is great. The one caveat I would say is that it's very difficult to predict how it will sound in your particular room. I know myself, for example, we've invested quite a bit in a sound system for where we live at home, because we listen to a lot of music on vinyl, then we have our separate music system, and then we have the TV running through it too. So we have that absolutely fine-tuned. If we were to buy this TV, we would have to make the decision, do we override the Notion soundbar built in and use our own system, or do we disregard that system that we've invested a lot of money in to use this soundbar? This is probably a me issue rather than an everybody else issue, but a problem shared is a problem halved, you know? Now, as I said, it does have the subwoofer built into the back, which would be superior to what most people will be used to in terms of their, even if you do have an external soundbar, it's definitely superior to anything I've seen in terms of a built-in system in quite some time. But just bear in mind, if you've already invested in a sound system, you really need this on top of it. It's just an internal debate that you can have with yourself. Also worth noting that there is Dolby Atmos processing built into this TV too, so that makes those epic moments in games and movies just pop. Alright, so we've talked a lot about the spec, but what about this TV as a TV? Well, that is a very good question. I'm delighted you asked. There is plenty of technology crammed into this very skinny frame to ensure that you are getting the most out of your viewing experience. I'm going to reiterate again, the user interface on this TV is 10 out of 10. It is so easy to find the content that you want to watch. There are different picture modes, as you would expect. One that I really liked was filmmaker mode. They're saying that it'll give you the experience that the filmmaker wanted. How true that is, I don't know, but it looked class. There's also IMAX Enhanced and there's HDR10 Plus support. So regardless of what you want to watch, you are guaranteed that it will look epic. If you are a gamer, there's a nice feature called Game Bar that allows you to tweak the picture settings even while you are in game, which is great. There's also the refresh rate, which can go up to 120 Hertz. And as I said before, the use of the Ambilights when you are gaming is just top notch. There's no denying that this is an expensive piece of kit, costing in and around €2,500. However, it does tick the majority of boxes that I would want ticked if I were to buy a TV in the morning. If you asked me before this review, would Philips be on my list of TV brands that I would consider for my own TV? The honest answer is probably no. And I'm not sure why that is. I've just sort of gravitated towards the same sort of brands time and time again. However, when I sat down with this set, and I also considered the fact that I have a lot of other Philips technology in my home, particularly the smart bulbs, the smart sensors, a lot of stuff on that side of the house, it kind of makes sense that they'd knock it out of the park in terms of this TV. I didn't want to love the Ambilight. I wanted to get away with my cheap little sticky back solution, but I can see I was doing a rip-off version of something that is unreal when it is done well. The only thing that would make me pause on buying this TV is the fact that we have invested so much at home in our own sound system. Do I really need to pay for that quality inbuilt sound system into a TV when chances are I'm probably going to bypass it? Alright, so we have put this TV through its paces in terms of TV shows, movies, gaming and sport. And what has really blown me away is the impact of that Ambilight on the background. The fact that it does transform your viewing experience and make it that bit more immersive. So if you are looking to invest and transform your living room beyond just the frame itself, this should absolutely be one of your key contenders on your wish list.